And Barry's in here first.
Bum, bum, bum.
Followed by Jim. Followed by Art. Everybody's coming. Woo-hoo.
Oh, they automated this. Everybody joins automatically, huh?
No, I actually hit a button.
Oh, you were.
But everybody showed up in the waiting room at the same time. So.
Oh, wait a minute. This is still your me. Oh, you're not out of time.
No. This is so when you were gone, I set up, a second meeting, and that seems to work really well, actually. So.
Leroy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're very quiet.
Huh.
Low, yeah.
Well, let's see.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. You dropped out.
Let me boost the gain a little bit. Up. Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'll torture you. There's 15 deaths. So you guys have missed. Looks like we did have a ramp up. This is about 2200 here, and now we were headed back down, and now we're going back up again. So we're right underneath 2,000, right at 2,000 deaths. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still kind of low, but I can hear you.
That's strange.
Oh, BattleBots has started again for this year.
Are you sharing a screen, Jim?
Not currently. I just ran across that.
I think you may have been sharing one in the beginning.
Yeah, I killed it when I changed topics on you, but I'll show you one. Share one. Let's see. Boing. No, not that one.
Ah, Vicente.
Hey, Vicente.
He's not quite here yet. Now he is.
Yeah, he's coming in. Vicente.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Long time no see.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody.
Just what's going on?
We're watching Jim look at the ceiling.
Better than nothing.
I need to put my camera in the middle of my screen. How do you get around that? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, you drill a hole in the middle of the screen, you see.
And BattleBox has started on the Discovery channel. Anybody has Discovery?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in the news driving me crazy. Cheapest electricity. this guy's talk about solar power. Usually you get the solar power weenies and they're insane. This guy's a little more realistic, but has got some good notes, some realistic notes. He's saying solar power is not going to come on fast enough. We're going to have to rely on fossil and nuclear and gas until it can catch up. That's about the same thing the French said, we're saying. Oh, have you seen Crucial's 1 terabyte drives on Amazon? They have a 2 terabyte model for 190. Those are SSDs.
Mm.
You know what the speed is on them, Jim?
Silly.
This art should show us.
They're faster.
I think it was like 780 meg or something, you know, but
There's
510 megabits per second.
Mm-hmm.
I was drive shopping the other day. They're actually up to 7 terabytes now.
7 terabytes.
7 terabytes.
Yeah, it's only like 11 grand a drive though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My threshold
right in
for
your price
pain
range.
is $100.
$100 seems reasonable.
I was just shocked to see that SSDs are that big now.
Are they the standard format?
And they're adding intelligence now, like some of the drives, but even more intelligent than the drives. They're looking at what you're reading, and they'll preload what you're looking at next and that sort of stuff. They're intelligent. There's a special name for the intelligent units. Gravity energy storage has come up again. They're talking about using the 1 mile deep elevator holes in the ground, pits in the ground, and using weights to store energy, and also using underground storage schemes to pump water up to the top and then allow water to come back down. That's like the old dam thing where they pump water up to the dam.
Yep.
And then during peak hours, they'd drain water out of the dam. So this is becoming, because we have the photovoltaic stuff doesn't work at night for some reason. They got to figure that out. So they're coming up with all kind of ideas. New technology, aqueous flow batteries. They have the aqueous flow batteries are pretty popular, are becoming popular in the electric generation deal. But these don't require a pump to pump it. These are smaller batteries. The others were strictly for commercial use at generation stations. So they got all kinds of stuff coming out, just weird stuff. Supercapacitors, of course, using graphene, and we need to get Art to look at some of this stuff. They got supercapacitors using metals and titanium, I think, and chemical reactions. And they're saying you can store light in them. You can make capacitors out of them, fast-acting capacitors, supercapacitors. Supercapacitors being fast is interesting. But there's some interesting stuff. So you can read that. It's in the news link if you guys want to look at what's going on with that deal. A couple of new books stuck on. I've been reading some lately. Robert Harris, an officer and the spy. This is I think this is the movie Papillon.
Papillon?
Similar scheme. This is about a spy who was caught, a French spy who was caught, but really he was a scapegoat for the French officers that wanted him out of circulation. So they trumped up some charges and sent him to Devil's Island. Sound familiar?
Yep.
And that was a good read.
There was a movie starring Steve McQueen, as I recall.
Yep. I think it's Steve.
It was Steve.
And very similar to that, but it's a surprisingly good book. Louis L'Amour's got a couple of audio books out for people who like Louis L'Amour. Of course he's like 40 years gone, but they're just publishing some audio books by him. Officer and a Spy, yeah.
On the audio books, it makes a big difference who's doing the reading.
It does, yeah. Most of the books on Overdrive, from the library, have good readers. Usually, the books by Louis L'Amour have a good reader. I did have something else. Oh yeah, not finished with the torture yet. When will it ever end?
You just have to catch up. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You've been gone a month. You have to catch up now.
I was just curious. Anybody ever hear whatever happened to the kid that came up with a solar panel that worked at night, like 80% power?
I haven't heard that joke. They did come up with some solar panels that had multiple sensors, and they were able to get additional energy out of it.
Well, there was like a couple of years ago, like high school kid or middle school kid came up with a solar panel working on a different light wave frequency where they're still getting the same, there's still a lot of output even at night. That was like infrared or something, or variant.
Yeah.
So is this the sun?
This is at dusk to dawn. This is the Luxons. Don't buy the Luxons. You can't buy them anyway. They're not for sale. But I bought one. I bought two. The suns this is the sun. There's the power supply that we didn't see last week. It's in the base. It was in the base of the lamp down there. And this is the circuit board. And what they started doing is they started mounting the circuit boards on a metal surface. And if you do that, particularly with the solar lamps, if you do that, if you're unsoldering stuff like this guy here, they have trouble unsoldering stuff because the heat sink is so good. So they're taking this circuit board. These are cob lamps on there. And on the back is metal. That's a piece of tape that wrapped the power supply. It's just very thin plastic tape. And there is the socket where the power supply was. It was beneath the circuit board. So I finally took it apart today so I could show you guys that.
So you say the suns are pretty good?
The sun, yeah, and that's based on reading the articles in Amazon. The sun ones are definitely better. This other one had no ratings. When I bought them a year ago, they had no ratings. I bought them off of eBay, and they lasted about a year, both of them. These apparently are better. They're not perfect.
So what's the failure mode? What's causing them to fail?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's a circuit board, and it's it's got a photo transistor on it of some sort, UV photo transistor. So it's got an op amp, and I think these have a mechanical switch in it, but I have no idea what's failing on them.
Well, I mean, the LEDs will go on for 20 years by themselves, but the circuitry attached to them usually is the cause of failure.
Yeah.
So
You would think it would last indefinitely. The LEDs these days are rated, supposedly these guys are rated for, they say, up to 50,000 hours or something like that. But I think nowadays they're probably making them where they can make 50,000 hours. But, you know, that's probably a year or so on constantly, huh?
no, there's 8,000 hours in a year.
Oh, okay. So it's several years. So they should last forever, theoretically.
It should last longer than the other components, I mean, the capacitor or power supply. Those things have
Here's
rectifiers.
another thing I found that was interesting. Have you seen these filament lamps that look like old style filament lamps?
Yeah.
The LED filament lamps?
Yep.
Those are LEDs in series. Okay. And there is no transformer in some of these. You have to watch them. There are like 74 of these in series. Yeah, and some of the newer lamps, you see the square ones, like the 3/4 inch square ones. Those are like 74 LEDs, tiny LEDs stuck in there, and they can plug them. You can plug them directly into the wall. You know, have a rectifier, and you can plug them directly into the wall. It's bizarre, and they have some new switching types that they just use AC and they flicker. So they have what they call a transformerless driver. So those are interesting. So there's some new techniques or old techniques putting everything in series. So you have like 74 or 84 bulbs, not LEDs in series. And there can be series parallel. So if any one of them goes bad, guess what? They're gone. So if the MTBF is 50,000, you lose one, you can be gone. So they're getting interesting, and some of them are unsafe. Like those surface mounts. One of the vendors had those surface mount cob lamps, and you could just touch them, except that there was 2 10 volts on that particular model right there connected to the cob lamps, and they were all in series parallel. So
well, that'll wake you right up.
Yeah. And normally they have a little plastic cover over the round part. Well, this one didn't have a plastic cover. They were saying, hey, you better pay attention. Of course, they were less than $1. But, yeah, be aware. There's some interesting stuff out there. So now I'm starting to put out some of the dusk to dawn flood lamps, and like I said, they're 500 Kelvin, which are 5,000 Kelvin, which is very white.
How much do those floods cost?
The floods are about $3 a piece in quantities of 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's I'm buying the Suns. I'm sticking with the Suns for now.
You just buy those at Amazon or on eBay?
Amazon. I don't know if eBay has the Suns yet, and if they are, they may be more expensive. If you guys have been playing with Amazon, you know what Amazon does. They'll show up on Amazon, but they won't be on eBay. And I'm sure that's intentional. Some of the stuff that's in demand. But right now I'm getting them from Amazon. Amazon, I think you get free shipping with 10 because you get up to $33 or so. So you can get the free or inexpensive shipping. In fact, I have some here. This is the PAR 38 type. So these fit a standard floodlight so far. PAR 38, 1200 lumens, which is pretty good. That's a 100 watt intensity. But the 500K bulb is the shocker because it's a very bright white. So you get a lot of effective, not very pretty, but effective lighting. And if you want to intimidate somebody, this is the way to do it. Or get the 6000s if you can get those. It's very intimidating.
Well, if you got floodlights around your house, maybe you want to intimidate people. Okay.
That's exactly what I did. I was going from infrared, and I had all these infrareds, and I said, no, I want them to see that I'm watching them.
Yep.
That they're lit up. And I don't want them to come up there and find the light, trip it on, figure out how to trip it on. It's going to be on. So. And if you really want to be obnoxious, get the motorcycle headlamps and put them on blink. Oh, that's obnoxious. Like I did to somebody pulled into my driveway the other day in the middle of the night. I give him the old blinky eye.
Blink, blink, blink.
Yeah, it blinks rapidly.
That's cool.
That is 100.
That's horrible.
100 201 part capacitors, surface mount capacitors. The guy says,
good luck soldering those.
Do what?
Good luck soldering those puppies in.
The guy says that a couple of them may have fell off when he took the picture, but that's what 100. I mean, components are getting small enough to replace Lincoln's hair.
I got to tell you, setting up that shot must have taken hours.
Yeah, he said basically it was hard to comprehend how small 0201 parts are. So he gave Lincoln a new haircut, but a few of them may have fallen off. That is 100 components. That is tiny.
What's the capacitance of them?
He says 8.7 picofarads.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta have a really good machine to do stuff like that, right?
Microscope tweezers and a funky soldering iron.
Yeah. I do good soldering regular, ordinary through hole components. Every time I try to solder something like a surface mount, I mess that up pretty good.
Yeah, much better to use a solder float or some technique like that.
Yeah. I bought some it's like some sort of paste or something that you heat up. That actually seemed to work pretty good, but you still had to be real careful about putting where you put how you put the component on the board.
Yeah, keeping them in position is the trick.
Yep. Yeah.
I need some of those that are like the jumbo colors,
Yeah.
The 8-pack jumbo colors in first grade. That's what we need.
Yeah. I just thought you would like to see just how small components actually are.
There's a Chinese company that'll build the boards for you, and they'll throw those kind of components on for free now. So it's like you pay like a quarter a board, if that. And they come pre-soldered with all the surface mounts already on it.
Wow. Vicente's surface mount guy now, huh, Vicente?
Yeah, I did something. My rulers.
Yeah.
He's having his own boards made up. Yeah.
But I try to keep about all 805 size. You can use your eyes to work with them.
So you're not assembling prototypes yourself. You're having somebody
No,
assemble
I am making them. I am using tweezers and screen and everything. I have my reflow Owen also. So, but I try to keep the components minimum size is 0805 size, that you can see them and you can work with them.
Hey, Vicente, here's my latest board. That's out of a light bulb.
Okay.
Out of the dusted down light bulb. Oh, yeah.
Nope.
So what's on that board, Vicente?
This is a computer from 1971, the first PC computer, personal computer. Okay. It's an emulator. So I put everything in this board with a battery here, and a real-time clock in the microcontroller here. And this thing can work for a year and a half. It's actually running, but it's sleeping in sleeping mode. You can just work with it. If you stay for 15 seconds without touching anything, it will go back to sleeping mode to save energy. It has the grow connector. It's a I2C connector here, the white one, to use some stuff out of the board and programming stuff.
So what's the battery, like a 2032?
It's exactly 2032, exactly.
And you say that'll last for a year and a half?
A year and a half. If you are not working with the computer, you work with it, you can have a couple of months. I put a voltage. I am reading the voltage of the battery. There is every 5 seconds there is a flash of a LED is flashing every 5 seconds. Yep. If the voltage go under 2.5 volts, the flash will be every 10 seconds. It means that you need to change the battery. But this thing is working science months ago, so it's great. I am planning to make maybe 100 or 200 boards, but I will ask to a manufacturer in China to do it, because it's too much work try to put all the components by hand. So I already have my custom push buttons. I have them here. They just arrived. This is can you see? This is the push buttons. Usually they need a pressure of 250 grams. I make a custom of 100 grams just to feel a very soft touch when you are typing, to make it like a key instead of a push button. And they behave really nice. It's very easy to press and to program the board. So
I just put a link to a picture of various surface mount component sizes.
uh-huh.
And you could see just how small some of those really get.
Yeah.
It shows them side by side. Shows them. Some of them are microscopic.
So what was the size of those capacitors you had, Leroy?
0, 0, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, 0, 2, 0, 1.
So it's smaller than what shows on here. Because the smallest on here is 0402.
No, go down to the next one that says 0603. That's the metric code.
Yeah, it's the
Go to
imperial.
the imperial code.
Okay.
So it's just slightly bigger than the 0402.
Okay.
Just enough to be.
I can share my
Yep.
my thing share. Okay. I try to use.
There it is. That's the same one.
I try to use this size 0805 and not less than that, because this stuff is too small, you know. This is too small.
So you can manually solder the 0805?
Yeah, this is easy. I also bought a solder twist that is a couple of solder pens articulated, so you can touch the component and it solders instantly. It's very easy to use. I rather stay in this from here up. It's okay, but if you go down, you need a machine to place this part in your board, and you cannot repair or do anything with that. It's crazy. So
yeah, if one of those small components break, it's just throw it away and get another one. You can't fix that.
That's not what the Terminator said.
I'm not listening to the Terminator.
When you're doing that, Vicente, how many do you lose that as they flick away or whatever?
How what?
How many do you lose because they?
No. Sometimes I lose. Maybe in a while I use some. If it fell down, there is a carpet in the floor in the basement. I just forget it. It's impossible to find, you know. So I try to have a pad with holes and put each one in a different hole and try to work in an area with a lot of light, and my glasses, my magnifiers.
Yeah.
So, but you need to have a very steady hands, you know, to put everything in place. And
a lot of patience, I would guess, too.
Yeah, a lot of patience. And be organized, because the components, all of them, only the resistors, you can see the value, but capacitors, inductors, many ICs, it's impossible to recognize, you know, the transistors. They have letters that are not related with the part number. So if you mix something, okay, just throw away, because it's impossible to figure out what it is. So you need to be very careful. Just moving all the components in different pockets and use them. That's okay. I am planning to assemble tomorrow. Let me show the board I'm working on. Projects here. Programmer, okay. To show this board. Sharing.
Should be able to share.
Share here. Okay.
Yep.
Share. Can you see this board?
Yep.
Okay. This is several voltages to make a programmer. You have 5 volts, 18 volts, 21 volts, and all of them need to change very quickly, controlled by microcontroller signals. So I have a couple of step-up converters. This thing. This is like this one, but this is 5 volts, and this is 21 volts. And I can have the 4 voltages using transistors and Zener diodes. But the small part here is the 0805 part. Transistors. So this is what the kind of thing I do. I just bought a compressor, a silent compressor, to work with a pass dispenser. Let me show the compressor if I find it. So a very small compressor that apply pressure to the dispenser, and you can control the timing to define the size of your drop or the pass. So you can put drops in every point, drops of pass, solder pass. Then put the components over the drops, and then put all the board inside the oven, and that's it. Maybe I will have several pictures next week to show the process. I will try to document the process of putting the drops, the placement of the components, and then the soldering to see how it is. It's interesting. There is a lot of things that you need to control. You need to design a very good profile, temperature profile, to avoid to burn the plastic parts of the components, but still solder all the components. You need to choose the solder point of the pass. There are solder pass that work about 200 degrees. I am using one that is 150 degrees. You can solder with lower temperature, and you avoid the damage to your components. For example, this is a LED. You see here, almost,
yeah.
The LED is like a plastic block over a small PCB. This block is very you can destroy it with temperature. You need to take care of the time and the temperature to do not destroy the LEDs.
We're down to about 30 seconds.
Yeah, but
Yep.
It's something you have to take care of. I have
All right. I'll see everybody next week because I think I think we're going to go out.
Yeah, I will have something to show them. Bye, everyone.
All right. Everybody, have a good week.
Great to see you all.